Hey YouTube, this is Alcheminition coming at you with a deck profile. Now, I played with this in a tournament a couple days ago, and I did very well. Surprisingly. This is a fun little deck that I made up. People have probably done this in the past. This is like a 6-year-old deck that I just kind of sort of revived, and it's still actually pretty good today. With Stride and such. So anyways, let's get into it. Let's start with the trigger lineup. We got, for the starter, we got one Battle Sister Eclair, Grade 3 Searcher. Pretty self-explanatory to why it's here. Search for Grade 3. And this deck relies on a lot of them. Sort of. You only run 4 in here. There's nothing strange like that. Just, alright, we got 4 Psychic Bird. Oh yeah, this is an OTT, just in case you didn't know that. 4 Psychic Bird, and that's why the playmat is here, even though this is not a Battle Sister deck. Then we got 4 copies of Battle Sister Muffin. Yeah. Her skill is still useful in here, to put herself back into the deck. You don't get her other effects, but you do get to pay her cost, which is putting her back in the deck, so putting triggers back is nice. Alright, for more triggers, we got 3 copies of Battle Sister Tiramisu Draw Trigger. This could easily be almost any draw trigger. It just happens to be the one that I had the most of here. Preferably, one that has this, that can put itself into the soul would be better, and I might look into that. Then we got 4 copies of Lozenge Magus. Yeah, gorgeous OG. Like, she herself isn't exactly OG. This is the Misaki version from the extra booster. But yeah, good heal trigger. You can put itself back into the deck. 3 copies of Oracle Guardian Gemini. This deck really lacks on power, so the 8K is useful. Three copies of Circle Magus, just so your drive checks are never secret. Then we got 4 copies of the Stride Enabler, Stride Fodder, Divine Sword, Amino Murakumo. Yeah, I bet you still don't know what deck this is, even though you think you do. Boy, this isn't what you think it is, trust me. 4 copies of the Perfect Guard, Light Element Sunny, just because it's really the only Perfect Guard I had 4 copies of, that could go in any deck. And then this is going to change. Right now it's 3 copies of Red Eye. It's probably going to be bumped up to 4 just because it's an ideal ride, and I need a little bit of soul for this deck to work properly. 4 copies of Raid Crane. I'm going to down it to 3 copies of Raid Crane for another copy of Red Eye. It's a okay thing. It's almost like Red Eye, only it's a GB1, and when it hits, you countercharge and soul charge. And the last card, we got 4 copies of Diviner Kirkazuchi. Great card for the Caustic Counterblast 1, and it needs to be boosted. You draw a card, which is pretty alright. Now for the grade 3s. This is where it gets weird, and you'll probably not know where this is going. 4 copies of Evil Eye Princess Urieli. When you have 6 in your soul, when this unit is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, bind a unit from your opponent's hand. Because this deck lacks power. Allergy season. Since this deck lacks power, you can bind your opponent's cards to help you get through. hope you get those perfect cards out of his hand. 4 copies. And here's the MVP of the deck. 4 copies of Goddess of Flower Divination, Sakuya. Sakuya is she has 2 abilities. Second ability is to, when you ride her, bounce all the cards on your field to your hand. Pretty good against bugs, Mega Colony. This thing eats them for breakfast pretty well. Being able to just like bounce all your cards to your hand and your opponent just got nothing. Yeah, and then she has another ability. If you have 4 more cards in your hand when she attacks, gains +4, which isn't bad. Could be better, but she's pretty basic. She's a 10k. However, when you can do this consistently, it's actually very much fun. You're able to reuse skills that only trigger when they're placed and such. It gives you a little bit of an advantage. It's nice, and yeah, she's decent. And this is where things shine, in the stride zone. We got I'm proxying 3 cards in here. I've got the 1 copy of the Lord of Guidance, Wakarahime. She's like MVP. She's what makes this deck amazing pretty well. Counterblast, Soul Blast, turn over a copy of her, draw a card, stack a trigger on the deck. Yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And you do that all before drive checks. And then I'm proxying 3 of her because I only got 1 at the time of this recording. But she is so good. And then we got 4 copies of Rain Element Midu, because all of your grade 3s in this deck are 10Ks. He makes for a pretty good first stride if you don't have any Amino Murakumos. He lets you stride for free, effectively. Then we have 2 copies of Kirin, pretty good first stride. On hit, check top 2, add a card, put the rest in the bottom. 1 copy of this name, Rain Cloud 9-Headed Dragon King. He's okay. He lets you shuffle 3 back into your deck and draw 3 again for a counterblast of 1 after the battle. 1 Sabreeze, pretty standard for pretty well every deck now. I don't know any deck that wouldn't play 1. I mean, striding before you're, well, being able to stride while your opponent's at grade 2 is like, punishes bad players. Love it. And then for the G Guardians, we got 3 copies of Sunrise on High God Hawk Ikibyoshi. If you have 3 or more cards in your hand, he gains +5k shield. And I run 1 copy of Screw. Yeah, Screw just adds a little bit more power to your thing. If you need that little bit extra shield, because, you know, Sakuya isn't exactly the biggest beater in the lot. Yeah, when I played this deck at my locals, I only stayed for a couple rounds, and the 2 rounds that I did stay for, I won 1, and I only lost the first round because we went into time at game 3. So, and I lost the tiebreaker. But I would have won if we didn't go into time. And that was against Angel Feather, and that's Angel Feather, Gavriel, and Royal or Gold Paladin Gurgit. So both pretty good decks. Lost to this effectively. Almost lost 1. Anyways, that's the deck profile for Sakuya. If you want to see more of these, if you like me in any way, shape, or form, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let's try for that at least 100 subscriber mark. At least give me come on. Anywho, this is Alcheminition signing out till next time. I'll probably have a ton more deck profiles for you guys. So, yeah, stay tuned. Till next time, see you later.